So let's go ahead and start doing a deep dive, Caesar, into all the different page types here, starting with the home page. So home pages are actually probably the most complex, Caesar, because depending on your practice area, depending on your locations, this is going to vary, right? So let's just give two very simple scenarios here of a single location. Let's use personal injury, single location personal injury versus multiple location personal injury, right? So let's say you're just in Miami, you're only going to be in Miami, even though I would advise making that decision at a time, versus you're in 10 different locations across the state or even multiple states, right? So for a single location personal injury law firm, Caesar, right? Like, how do we want to structure this? We have Morgan & Morgan here. Morgan & Morgan's tough to look at because they're the biggest law firm in the country. But from layout and design point of view, it's always good to look at firms that you know are crushing it because they've tested these things over and over and over again with millions of dollars in different A/B testing. So you can kind of get a feel for what works for what that looks like. But let's talk about this real quick, Steve. So on the homepage, what are some elements that we need here that should be included for sure?
Yeah, so we talk about clear headline here. And what's important to understand is that you always need to think about what's important to whoever is visiting your website, what's important to them. So what I see a lot, especially with attorneys, is they grandize themselves a lot at the top. It's a video of them walking into court in their, power suits, nice office, and all of that stuff is great, but it's not really what your potential clients are going to care about. So using the example of Morgan & Morgan, 25 billion recovered for clients. So right there, it's telling people what's in it for them. If you contact us subliminally, what this is saying is, if you contact us, you're probably going to get a fair amount of money for your injury.
Outcomes, yeah.
Yeah, outcomes. So, and then the second thing is the call to action, right? Get a free case evaluation today. So right off the bat, you're speaking to what ultimately clients want, which is to get financial compensation, and you're telling them what you want them to do, which is to get your free case evaluation. You're making it very easy for them to do that by having the form right at the very top. So even before scrolling, it doesn't matter what device you land on this page. If all you saw was this, it's enough for you to take the action that Morgan & Morgan wants you to do. And that's the element of a clear headline, a good call to action. That's point number one.
Yeah, and I think this is important too, right? And there's links underneath this, guys. You can check out the websites for yourself. But this is a national firm, right? So it's a national firm. So what you don't see here is like the best personal injury attorney in Miami. Now, if this was a single location firm and we're gonna optimize the homepage to rank, because your homepage is gonna be your most important page, right? So if you're like, look, I am just a Miami personal injury attorney, I don't plan on expanding, and maybe personal injury isn't the best example, like more like criminal or family or estate planning. Those are usually firms where like, yeah, dude, I'm not gonna expand. I just want to make my nut here in Miami. Then this headline might change to be more locally focused and maybe a little bit more keyword driven, right? So instead of making this the main headline, the H1 that we call it, maybe it would say something like proven estate planning attorneys serving Miami, right? And then underneath that, we could say the outcome-based thing with the call to action. So we're still getting this conversion-based copy here. Again, Morgan & Morgan national firm, this is a splash page for them. The traffic coming from all over, from billboards, from all different over the places. People are probably coming to the website a little bit more aware, not location-based, and then they've got their locations of practice areas up here. So the other things that should be on the homepage too, we've got a list of them here. Social proof, testimonials, case results, awards, show off. The more stuff that you can put on here, the better, no matter what practice area that you go after. We also like to include a section for all the practice areas here, right? So meaning, what are the sub-practice areas that you focus on? So again, if this is personal injury, he has it on here too. It'll say car accidents, motorcycle, blah, blah, blah. And then those should actually link to your practice area pages, right? So you can put some icons on there, just a simple little section that shows all the practice areas, what you do. About the firm, key attorney bios, like the head attorney on there, maybe some links to the other attorneys in there, and then resources like blog posts and then a call to action at the footer, right? So you don't have to overcomplicate this. Again, Context is everything. The more of these websites that you look at, the more that you'll get an understanding for it. And then just real quick on the top navigation, this is extremely important. You should always, always, always have a big phone number in the upper right-hand corner. And we're obviously looking at the desktop versions of these. The whole concept of like mobile first. If you build in WordPress, that's going to take care of it. Everything's going to be mobile optimized, but especially on mobile, you want that phone number at the very top because ultimately what you're trying to do is get people to call. Forms are great, but phone calls are better because with a form, you have to chase people down. With a phone call, you got them on the phone right there. Anything else on the homepage, Caesar, before we move on?
No, just what we talked about, or what you just said right now about mobile phone is look at your site on mobile. If you have to pinch and zoom in any section, then you know it's not mobile friendly. So just keep that in mind. Don't just look at the desktop version of your website. Also, with the way that elements are laid out, you can change them when looking at the desktop version to the mobile version. So just make sure that it flows well on both devices. And the important thing is, again, the top section is really just getting to the heart of it, getting to what clients are potentially coming to you for. Obviously the keyword information, as Ryan alluded to, is important. But yeah, I think we've covered it all for the homepage.
Yeah, and just again, the links are down here. I just encourage you to click on this in your own time and then just, crosswalk it against the information that we give you here. You'll see that it all lines up. So next is the About page. This is actually from a client of ours that we rebuilt their website, Lorfing Law, Keith and Lorfing, criminal defense attorney down in Texas. So the About page, I think, is very important. It's becoming more important for things like AI search because AI search is looking a lot at credibility. It's looking a lot at results. It's looking a lot at, are you good at what you do, right? So the About page is very, very important. What we always have is we have an About page, right? So we have this Meet the Team page, and then each of these will deep link into the attorney bio page, which we'll talk about in a second. So this is the place to talk about your values, your teams, your accomplishment, your award, charities, content, press features. Things to include are obviously going to be, so these are the two, they've got about 10 lawyers on staff, but these are the two founding partners. So they've got their own built out section just for the founding partners. They're the main show, the main attraction there. So we'll build out like a section that features them a little bit more. And then attorneys underneath with their pictures. And those will also deep link to their attorney bio pages. And we'll talk more about that in a second, why that's important. But I think putting about your ethos, right? Why you do what you do, the history of what you do. This firm here in particular, they are West Texas, right? They're a West Texas criminal defense firm. That's much different than being an Austin criminal defense attorney. If you know anything about Texas, they're out in the oil fields. They're working with tough to do workplace injury stuff out there on oil rigs. They wanted to be able to portray, like their whole thing is West Texas tough, right? So when we were redesigning and rebuilding this website, we really wanted to feature that and call that out. And that goes into their ethos too. I mean, if you go to their website, again, the link is down here, you can check it out. You'll see that it's very much so designed in the messaging, and their ethos is all about like, we serve it, like this is who we want to service. This is what we're built on. This is who our customer is. So know who your audience is and talk about that, right? Talk about your ethos. Credentials, awards, media mentions, all that stuff. You guys are attorneys, you should have, multiple credentials that you can talk about. But again, media mentions, any awards that you've gotten, even if it's something like AVO, like Best of, all that stuff, throw logos on there. We want to show off. Again, personal touch, communities, involvement, firm culture. This firm in particular, they have a couple scholarships that they have, so we put those on there as well. And then we have individual pages for those scholarships. And then again, every page should basically all end with a call to action at the bottom. Caesar, do you have anything else on the About page in particular?
This is the place, this is the page to get very detailed in. As you mentioned, this is where ChatGPT and other LLMs pull specific information. So just get very detailed. If you're a minority woman, a female-owned law firm, those little details is where you want to put it here on the About page, because that's where a lot of that information then, when someone is looking in ChatGPT, using those details, that's where that information is going to get pulled from. And this is really the more appropriate page to put that information. You don't want to have all of that stuff littering the homepage necessarily. So yeah, I would just say, think about all the specifics about your law firm, and this is the page where it belongs on.
Yeah, I just real quick on that too, to wrap this up. We have another client in Michigan. He's a motorcycle fanatic. He does motorcycle accident law. When we built his About page, he does a lot of stuff with like sponsorships and pop-ups and tents and vehicle wraps, like put it on there, man.
Yeah.
Don't leave anything out. If you sponsor a Little League team, take a picture of it, put it on there. The more stuff that you can put on there, the better. Again, this is not just for conversion elements and letting people know who you are. These ChatGPT and LLM search are looking heavily at this. They really want to see firms that are active in the community. So it's just something to think about too. If you're not, you should be. And it should be on your about page. Every little thing that you're doing should be on there. It's very easy to include. So
just one last thing on the about page
Yeah.
that I want to mention is this is not a page that you need to worry about SEO. This is not a page that you need to worry about keywords. This is a page that you should be selling your law firm, because this is only going to show up in search if someone is specifically looking for you. So just keep that in mind.
So moving on to the attorney bio page. So this is actually the attorney that we were talking about. So every single attorney should have their own dedicated page. And the reason is twofold. One is because people are searching for attorney names, right? And if you don't have a dedicated page on your website for it, we see it all the time. We're auditing websites. I'm like, damn, like these attorneys, they have like 100 searches a month, but they don't have a dedicated bio page on the website, which means traffic isn't making it there, right? It's going to like Avo or FindLaw. Make sure that every single attorney has a bio. This is a really good bio page. This is the motorcycle law we were talking about. Highly encourage you to check this one out because we really crushed this page. So professional photo in the header, always. Bio, and this is where, just like the about page, this is where we get more into the attorney specific stuff. So like bar admissions, education, practice focus, cases won, community involvement, why that attorney specifically got into law, media features, social media profiles. Again, similar to the about page, but just drilled into the attorney, right? So again, everything that you can throw on this page, the better. As a selling point, right? We would just want to sell your attorneys. It's a very important page, not just for, again, people wanting to learn more about the attorney that could be handling their case, which I think is important, especially we're talking about family law, criminal defense, like personal injury, maybe not as much, but like, dude, family law, criminal defense, like people want to know who they're working with for the most part. So again, very important page. Now, this is going to be arguably the most important SEO page, and I have a deep link here to one that you want to take a look at. But the reason why practice area pages are so important, like I already talked about, so for every location that you have, for every office that you have, there should be a umbrella targeting page. So again, Miami Family Law, and then underneath that, when I say underneath that too, I mean like literally underneath on the navigation in the folder structure. Miami Divorce Lawyer, Miami High Net Worth Divorce, all those different things, they want each of it. And the reason why it's so important is because these are the pages that rank in search. So if you go to Google and you type in Miami Child Custody Lawyer, or wherever location that you're at, you're gonna see practice area pages ranking. You'll see home pages in there too, but for the most part, you're gonna see practice area pages. So these pages are extremely important for your SEO, and these want to have a ton of information on them. They should be at least 3,000 words long. Again, we're gonna talk more about the writing of these pages later, but when you're laying these pages out, expect them to be long. Expect them to be very long. So case type, process, damages, FAQs should be on the page as well. Client stories, verdicts and settlements. Again, this is maybe slanted a little bit more for personal injury here, but this, you can reapply this to anything. Strong call to action, and then location optimized information in there as well. And the reason why that's important is, again, if you're in multiple markets, you might say, okay, I have a car accident page, I'm in 10 locations. Do I just copy and paste the car accident page across 10 locations? What would
Absolutely
you say to that?
not, but yeah. Well, you want to make sure that the content is unique for each of these pages. But yeah, when it comes to talking about the location, this is the page that's going to potentially rank in Google when someone is searching for, let's say, personal injury lawyer Miami, personal injury lawyer Fort Lauderdale. So talking about information about those locations on this page is what that means.
Very important pages. So results page, this isn't something that we've always pushed before in the past, but again, now coming with AI search, it's pretty crazy. You just go to ChatGPT and you type in like, hey, show me the best car accident lawyers in Miami. They're gonna cite results. And then if you ask ChatGPT like, hey, where'd you get that result from? They'll be like, oh, it's on their website.
Yeah.
So, a results page is kind of like an about page, but all about clients and all about results, right? So again, this applies to every practice area, right? Now, again, there's some practice areas where you're like, look, I do family law, like nobody's coming on here and wants to talk about their divorce. But there are ways that you can show You can talk about cases, you can either anonymize them, but people care about outcomes, right? So showcase those outcomes, verdicts, settlements, testimonials, reviews, anything that you can get, this is your place to compile them all together. I have it on our website, so if you go to webbers.org, you'll see our results page. It's consolidation of where we've been featured, right? Press coverage and features, speaking engagements that we've done, client results that we've gotten, reviews pulled in from Google, testimonials on video, testimonials via email, anything that you can get. Highlight your wins here. This is an important page, highlight your wins. This is just any sort of result page that's different than the about page, right? Because the about is more about the firm and the ethos. This is saying, we are good at what we do. And here's a page that's full of proof of that. Anything to add in the results page, Caesar?
No, I mean, think about it. These pages all work together. You're going to be internally linking to these pages from the practice area page. And we can talk a little bit about this later, but there is a technical reason for why you want to do this as well. Because Google does take into account what they call EEAT. It's an acronym: expertise, authority, and trust. And that's what these pages do, is it builds that authority, it builds that trust, talking about specifically the attorney and their accolades, their experience is why people should listen to the content that's being published on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. A real quick blog page, pretty straightforward. This is gonna be the area where you can create additional content for your website. You all know about blog content, but this is where we're gonna put articles, resources, guides, any sort of FAQs, maybe any firm announcements that you wanna put through. But this is where 99% of your website's content will be created. Again, you got your core pages, those page templates. Your blog is just a space to create more content from an SEO point of view, but also just from a client pathing through point of view. Again, firm announcements, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think we need to spend too much time on the blog page here.
Yeah, I'll just add to here, we usually keep this at a state level, which gives you more flexibility for you to link to specific locations and practice areas.
Yeah. And then the final page here is just the contact page, right? So again, Morgan & Morgan, copy and paste what they're doing. It's really good. This is, keep in mind, this isn't like a true contact page where it's like, hey, if you have questions, this is a conversion-based page. For the most part, in the legal space, there's not like a lot of FAQ-based contacts. If so, they call you and you just filter them out. Existing clients will call you or email if you have their contact info. But, on this page, just think about it like this is the absolute final touch point of how someone is gonna go from anonymous traffic to inside of your sales ecosystem. So we obviously want a phone number here. It should be at the top, but you can just reiterate it here as well. I like how they've got we're here 24/7, right? No matter what time you contact us, you're gonna get a response within X period of time. Contact form, underneath this, I like to put office map and directions. You can include all your locations there as well. FAQ section I think is really important because this is where you can filter out the tire kickers, right? Like, how does your pricing work? What can I expect in terms of next steps? Where are you located? Whatever you can come up with. And then link to your social profiles here too, right? Just so people can find out more information about you. So that's all the pages.